Hello and welcome back to Bristol City Football Club. After that rather tight contest against West Brom, we have only 3 days until our next match. Though this one should be a little easier against Huddersfield Town, currently sitting at 22nd in the Sky Bet Championship table. Our recent run of good form has put us in second position in the Championship table, and that certainly has the fans clamouring to see their team perform. And we're expecting, as we can see here from the latest news, a sellout for Saturday's match. As we can clearly see from this preview of the match, the teams have been performing quite differently recently. Wins for Bristol City and a good number of losses, unfortunately, for Huddersfield Town, which should mean a comfortable win for us. But then again, looking at Huddersfield, they are playing to get out of the relegation zone, so that might fire them up for this particular match. Now, thankfully, since the last match, we've had no bad news from the medical centre or the training ground with regard to injuries, so I have pretty much a full squad to choose from for today's match. But what I want to do, I think, is give a couple of those players I've been playing a lot recently a little bit of a rest, and also to bring back into the team a couple of those who have only just returned from injury. We need to get them firing on all fours. Is that what they say about football players? I'm really not sure. We need to have them firing on all cylinders. That's probably a better expression, isn't it? Yeah, so that when we come up against really tough competition, and we are currently heading towards the quarterfinals for the Carabao Cup, so we do need to be prepared for that, because that will mean real tough opposition from the Premier League, no less. So we're replacing a couple of players here in the squad. We're using the 4-4-2 again, but we're going to be playing it at a lot more attacking against Huddersfield. So I'm putting in Andreas Weimann in as a striker, just giving Benica Fobe a little bit of a rest despite his recent outstanding performances, and also replacing in midfield a couple of players who we've seen a lot of recently, and that's Tommy Rowe and Corey Palmer. We're replacing them with Henriksen and Walsh, both very fine players in midfield. The defence and goalkeeper stay the same. On the bench, again, we have Callum Adauda, who's just returned from a major injury spell. Hopefully he'll get some time in today's match. But that's it. The teams are lined up. They're ready to go. So let's crack on and see how the match plays out. Wow, what can you say? That was quite an impressive result. 4-0. That's the sort of scoreline you dream of, I think. Despite the difference in position and form of the two clubs, I think 4-0 is a fairly sound result. The whole team, as we can see here, has got green flags against them. They've all received a 70% or higher rating, with the only exceptions to that being our goalkeeper Daniel Bentley. I keep wanting to call him David. I really should stop that. And he's only lost out on that higher rating simply because he didn't have that much to do, perhaps. He was protected by a good quality turn from our defence and our midfield, and of course our attackers up front scoring those goals. Likewise, Vincent Harper and Callum O'Dowda, sort of late substitutes, so they didn't really have chance to make that much impact on the match. But not everything went our way. As you can see from this chart on the left-hand side of the screen here, possession was something we really struggled with in this match, which is really disappointing because we had made strides in recent matches. A 44% possession, that's not good. And likewise, in terms of the number of headers we won, the number of passes that are completed, really not up to the mark, I think. So we need to address that going forward. We do have some time before our next match, but I'm hopefully that those issues there will be resolved and we'll get back on top of the game in those two areas. And as these diagrams here show, the heat map and the action zone representation, whatever you want to call that, yeah, we struggled in the middle of the pitch. The centre there, we really were not holding our own. We really did let Huddersfield get their act together in that area of the pitch, and it left our always reliable wingers, Eliasson in particular and Watkins out on the right, to take the lion's share of the attacking and possession in that particular match. It's not that Henriksen and Walsh are poor players. They are very fine players in their own right, but there's something amiss there. Was it me? Was it my tactics? Did I get them wrong here? Was I giving them inappropriate direction for their performances in the match? I don't know. We'll have to look at that as we go forward, I think. But we can save that analysis for later. We've got a few days now before our next match, so let's relish the fact that we achieved this dominant victory in this match against Huddersfield. And one thing to notice here, obviously, is Andreas Weimann coming back, his first match in over a month, and he's scoring 2 goals and player of the match without a shadow of a doubt. He really was on fire today, so let's hope that level of performance can be maintained. So looking at the write-ups for today's match, well, it's kind of cruel to punish a team like Huddersfield, who have clearly been struggling and are indeed currently managerless, apparently. But that's football. The game is relentless. If you don't take your chances when you can, you will surely suffer when the tide turns, when you're facing stiff opposition, when you need to dig in and grind out a performance. There's a chance, if you haven't already sort of taken your chances earlier against less capable opposition, that the whole season could come apart and unravel on you. So we're playing this. Huddersfield, unfortunately, were the fall guys in this particular instance. So, okay, yeah, I've been putting off saying this today. Weimann, yeah, player of the match, scorer of two goals and getting all the hot press, and very rightly so. He put in a marvellous performance, as indeed did all the team, but Weimann really stood out for us. You may recall, if you watched the previous video, that I had my doubts about him, and I couldn't quite see where he would fit in as an attacking midfielder in our current formation and our current tactical setup. And that's because previously, before I adopted this new 4-4-2 formation, he was playing in an attacking midfielder role, and that's what I saw him as. And I quite overlooked the fact that he's actually very capable as a striker. And this is a very brief summary of his positional attributes and abilities. And as you can see there, right at the top, a nice bright green dot saying striker. He's good at it, and he certainly proved that today. So I think especially considering that Benik Afobe is a lone player. He will be going back presumably to Stoke, where we've loaned him from at the end of this season. We will need someone who can score goals. Famara Dedu has certainly been proving that. Nahki Wells, again, he's not quite as consistent perhaps as I wish he could be. But if we've got someone else as well, like Weimann, to step into that position, then I think the future's looking quite good for the team. I'm quite happy with that. So there we are. Our 19th league match, 8th successive win in this league. That's quite a good result. So I'm not at all unhappy about that. And it's only on goal difference that we are in second place. Fulham drew, Leeds lost. So we are, along with Fulham, on 48 points at the top of the table. As I said, it's only goal difference that separates us. And the thing to note here, perhaps, is I've just looked forward into the calendar. And in 7 days' time, next Saturday, we will be facing Fulham. That could be a good match. So don't go anywhere else. Stay tuned to this channel and catch what happens in that, what should be, epic contest. And finishing off, of course, social media. Everyone has to be engaged with social media, even in football. And as you can see here, yeah, we're getting really positive feedback from the fans and from the press, from everyone who's paying attention to what Bristol City Football Club are doing. Though, of course, being social media, there are one or two people trying to pour cold water on Weimann's triumphant return to the team. Well, that's it. I hope you were impressed with his performance and that of the team, and are looking forward to the next match against mighty Fulham, current leaders of the Sky Bet Championship. But to make sure you do catch that, do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button, and that way you'll know when I upload another one of these Football Manager 2020 videos, or indeed, if you're interested, in any of my other Let's Play series. But from me, Ajaxpost, here at the very heart of Bristol City. Until the next time, bye-bye for now.